Hey, great day to you all. I hope that you were all able to wake up super grateful this morning to be alive again another day in your experience. And I hope you set that high vibe, telling yourself all the amazing things that you needed to hear this morning. Like you're amazing, you're strong, you're smart, you're capable, you're beautiful, but most of all, you're grateful for another day in this experience because factually it wasn't owed to you. Okay? The universe felt that you were worthy of it, to experience it, and to be an expression of it. So, what are you going to do with it? Or what have you done with it so far up until now in your day? Have you loved yourself right first before you loved anything outside of you? Because that is first and foremost that you must do before anything. And I talk about it. As soon as I open my eyes and I realize that I have been given another day in this experience, hey, I got to be grateful for it. And, you know, getting up, I have to be grateful that my body moves. And I have to be grateful that it knows exactly what it needs to do because it's already programmed to do that. So I have to be grateful for that. And then once I go and I eliminate whatever my body decided to get rid of over the night, I'm grateful for that too. And I show my body the love for that too. Then when I go and I love my coffee, yes, I do. So when I go and I make my cup of coffee, I make myself a cup of love. Because water holds memory. So I infuse my cup of coffee with a whole bunch of love before I even drink it. Yeah. And a lot of people have asked me some questions. So I'm going to talk about all kinds of things today on this live. So you might want to stick around to the end because there's going to be a lot of information dropped for you all today, according to questions asked. So I'll let you guys know the questions and then I'll answer them. But before we get started, there's a couple of things I want to mention to you guys. Look, if you haven't already checked it out, Montreal's new sound, CFQR 600. Guys, check them out. AM. Awesome station. Awesome, awesome, awesome tunes all day long. Because I don't have a radio in the house anymore, I listen to them online. Okay, so check it out. You can check it out, www.cfqr600.com. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Seriously. Okay, there are some things in this world that make my heart smile and my soul sing, and that's one of them. Literally. Okay, so check it out. Because if it has that impact on me, guaranteed to lift your spirits up. All right. Couple of other things, guys. Do not miss Monday night's episode of United Earth Angel series, number 9, episode 9. Okay, because Andy Joe has published her first book this week. I'm so proud of her. So let you guys all know that we're going to talk about that. And this week, what have I done? I've published 2 more books for you all too. Why do I do it? Well, because I need a creative, powerful outlet. Because I absorb a lot of negativity and transmute a lot of energy and power off of the whole neighborhood and where I am and in my life right now. So I need a creative, positive outlet once I've transmuted it all to channel it out and funnel it out to the world. So how I do that is I allow, because I have a huge energetic force, huge. And who I am and what I do on the planet, well, I transmute energy constantly, no matter what. So because of what I've endured over my experience, which was all my training. So it's like a marathon. The more you train for a marathon, the more you can handle running a marathon. Well, The more I've been trained in my life is the more I can handle in life. So a lot of people living the circumstances and situation that I am actually living right now in my real time, a lot of people would be broken by it, depressed by it, all fucked up on drugs, becoming a victim to their environment or their circumstance and situation. And I will never be that, ever. And a lot of people have this victim mentality, like they've been a victim to their life and the cards they were dealt. But you could have the shittiest hand and walk away with it being the biggest winner. Because you got to find the good in it all. And that's what I do. I transmute energy of darkness back into light. I'm a light worker. That's what a light worker does. We have the ability to alchemize energy freely. That's what we do. But we must maintain a certain frequency to not be affected by it. Well, because I've mastered my energy, while I alchemize and transmute a lot of energy. Why? Because we are magnetic beings. So whether I like it or not, with the biofield that I have, I attract energy. I pull energy more than another does. And this is why I have a magnetic field. And this is why people are pulled to me and called to me. Is because of I'm like a huge magnet. And that's why, the screen sometimes, if you guys are having a hard time with this StreamYard. I noticed StreamYard lately, though. Even I was watching somebody's live this morning that I tried to get onto. Actually, it was Ace Metaphor. Yeah, I got onto the backstage of his StreamYard, but he couldn't pull me up. There's something going on, so I don't know. StreamYard for me the other day didn't work well either. But anyway. And yes, Ace Metaphor, he's awesome. He talks the truth, and he's right about a lot of things that he says. Just like Derek Jackson. That's why I share their stuff. Because you know what? A lot of people don't like to hear the truth from me. But hey, hopefully the guys will listen to these guys. Because I do. Yeah. They've got something to say, real truthful. And people need to literally get their head out of their ass or out of the ground, like I wrote the first. Talking about that, guys, let me introduce you before I get on to other things. So this week, I have published a new book for you all, talking about getting your head out of your asses. But I don't say that as an insult, because I had my head in my ass for so long too, literally. So I don't say that in an insulting way. But guess what? Here you go, guys. Your transition from ostrich to eagle, a journey of personal transformation. Authored by me, graphics by Stephanie Paris. And if you all can see that, what is the ostrich? Head in the ground, avoidance, denial, running in circles, can't fly. Biggest bird, greatest, it's got a greatest running capacity, but hey, where does it go? Nowhere. Fast. Sticking its head in the ground. Totally oblivious to what's going on around it. Versus the eagle, the apex predator that soars. You don't see a flock of eagles, do you? Well, that's why you don't see me with a flock of people. Simple. Everybody believes in networking and community. Yes. Yes. And I'm grateful that it is all there. But that'll lead you to the need for this book. Budgeting Your Energetic Bank, Managing Your True Wealth. Authored by me, Tobi Staples, graphics by Stephanie Paris. Now, let me talk about it. The more things that you have to deal with in your life and the more people in your life is the more transactions you have energetically. And yes, I appreciate everybody that I learn from and that I'm connected to. Yes, I do, heartfully. But my energy must be managed first by me, because my energy is a mastered, hold, heal energy with a biofield that's solid, that cannot be penetrated by another. So where I bring my life force and where I extend the permissions to also brings and extends permissions of everything that's encased in my biofield. Well, that's not for everybody. And that's not just for anything. I know that. You see, the universe puts me in places where I'm needed to be. And this is why people must not take it personally if I am not there religiously like everybody else is on whatever it is that they're doing. I'm still here. I'm with you all in spirit. But the universe specifically, strategically puts my face where it needs to be to interact with those that need me the most for the time that I'm needed. And swiftly puts me in other situations right after. This is why a lot of people have asked me, Tobi, why have you not built a community? Why have you not built courses and classes? Why have you not built an email mailing list? I'm going to answer that all to you right now, because that was one of the questions. And guys, I have questions to answer. Trust me, because I've written them all down. So why am I not interested in a mailing list and creating courses? Well, because I create books for you all with workbooks in them now. The 2 books that I just showed you guys, from Ostrich to Ego and Budgeting Your Energetic Bank, there's workbooks in there. So look, my books are like $35 a crack or $38 a crack or $40. Well, that's what I offer to the world. Simple. I'm not interested in taking hundreds of dollars from anybody for anything. That's not what it's about. So that's why I offer my books to people. And instead of me course creating, which honestly right now, I get it. Okay. One question at a time. And I'm being told to address the mailing list. So I will. I have to honestly tell you all why I'm not interested in gathering people's email addresses to push emails to everybody. It's because I can't stand opening my fucking email every day and seeing garbage in there. And it's all garbage. It's all garbage. I very rarely open any of it unless it's pertinent to my relevant today. Something I have to show up for, something I'm committed to. Other than that, I don't even bother. I can't be bothered. You know, I've got like 9,000 emails in my email. Half of them are shit. 3/4, not even, sorry, yes, okay, I get it. 90% of them are shit. People trying to sell something. I'm not interested in flooding people with emails. If they want to know what I'm up to, if they're interested in my books, they can damn well go get them themselves. I can't push myself on anybody. Why? Because my energy, there's no dollar sign that can be put on it. I know that. I have no question about that. So when people want to talk about worth and self-worth, and no, listen, when my boss, my creator, the most high source, has shown me my worth and backs me to be in this experience, to be exactly what I am within it, well, why would I question my worth? I am so worthy of this mission that I'm breathing today. It's simple. But that's when I'll say it also too. I could sit and I could push emails on people all day long and fill their emails up with garbage. Literally, I could. Does that interest me? No. It interests me if somebody wants real change for themselves. I don't need to chase you for that. From the state that I'm in, I don't need to self regulate. Literally. I can just be. Can you do that? That's what I do all day long. I just be. No matter what I'm doing. Even when I'm walking down to the water and you guys see me live, and even no matter what I'm doing, I am in the state of just flowing freely with no restriction from my highest potential of my being. Because that's our purest and most natural state of flowing and thriving through life. That's your real true abundance, is when your flow of your energy is not restricted or bounded by anything that you have stored in there. And I'll get into that too. What do I mean by that? Well, this was a great question. I'll shut off my alerts now because I forgot to do so. Let me just shut this off. So, I don't want to go too close to the computer. You see, my energy is messing up StreamYard, and it has been for a little while. So, let's talk about it. Somebody asked me, Toby, I think it's a crock of shit that your past doesn't affect you. Well, it no longer exists. So how can it affect me? You know, the only way that something affects you is when you have something stored in your being about it, because that's the only way you remember it. So if you're not sitting there remembering it, or you don't have it in your automatic programming running on repeat, how can it affect you? It can't. It's impossible. So when it comes to me, I'll use me as an example because I love to. This is how I can flow the way I do. You know, when your energy is restricted by all of this emotional baggage that weighs you down, and all of these memories that are stored in your being by just the emotions simply, it's blocked energy in your being. So, what does blocked energy produce? Pain, suffering, disalignment, misalignment, distortion of your free flowing energetic flow. Come on. The only way you remember something is from how it made you feel, from the energy moving through you. And had you been taught at that moment how to release it from your being and not store it, you wouldn't be affected by it today. It would no longer exist. It's just like a little kid. When you're learning to crawl or you're learning to walk, you think that falling down is is an issue to stop you from learning or growing? No. Because you just naturally get up and keep going. Because you're in your purest state. You're not walking around believing that you are who you've been trained to be. And that's your biggest distortion of your highest potential, is believing something you're not. Completely. And 98% of the population is walking around believing that there's something that they're not. Factually. You know, like there's a 1% of the population that's governing the whole thing. Not even. There's like what, 7 families governing this whole thing? Do you guys know anything about what has constructed this whole thing that we're living in? And how the 1920s was the biggest shift? And how the past 100 years we've been so locked into a system that is so wrong and in the reverse way that, come on, this is not how people are supposed to thrive. This is totally opposite, reversed role as into nature. Factually. I know about it all. Because when you're free flowing in your truest, highest potential of your being, your truest state, you're tapped into the power of the all-knowing. So it's something that we all have. Everybody believes it's a state that must be achieved. No, we're born in it. And this is where people have it reversed also. You know, like all of these things that have made you believe that you must take programs and do things and to achieve a certain state and all, it's all bullshit. You're born in this state. You get pulled away, and not even pulled away, because it's constantly fueling you from birth. You never get disconnected from it, but it gets distorted by you starting to believe anything and thinking, because you're not supposed to think. See, this is the truest distortion. And everybody's working on mindset. Yes, I had to also, but that's not your truest, highest potential of your being. Your truest, highest potential of your being and your free flowing capacity of creation and energetic flow. There's no thoughts attached to that. I can reassure you of that. And the power of the all-knowing is a feeling. It's a knowing. And you can pull anything that you want out of it and bring it into your reality. Literally. But if you are sitting there and not even grounded in your own being, feeling safe and secure and rooted in your own self first, well, understand that the universe is supporting and fueling just, look, the love that's fueling you is giving you life. So the love and the power of love, which is that is the most creative power there is on the unit in this whole creative existence, right? Is love. That's what fuels us. That's what is created. That is, listen, that's the glue that binds everything. That is what gives you life today. It is the love that is fueling you for life. But anything that you think, say, and do about yourself and your experience is also fueled by the power of love. So everything that you choose to think about yourself, there's a huge force behind that supporting it. Anything that you choose to say about yourself, forget about what you're doing to others, because whatever you're doing to others is you're doing to you. Because you're projecting that from your projection of reality. So they are an extension of you and your projection of your reality, because we're all connected. And everybody's so worried about what others are doing to them. No, that is what they are projecting into their reality by their choice of it being there alone. Factually. That's why I say all the time there will be nothing in my reality that I do not want in it. And the operation that I operate, the consciousness that I operate, like I tattooed 12D universe on my arm. You know what that means? That means I'm operating at a full consciousness level in a universe, one universe, my universe, nothing but. And that is why there will be nothing in my reality that I do not want to exist. No person, place, thing, no interaction, nothing. And where I choose to go and where I choose to flow, I will flow like water over rocks. Because that is exactly how energetically I am meant to flow. And that is the true abundance of being in this reality. And y'all are running to make money. Yes. To pay your bills. Yes. None of that shit exists. That just keeps you locked into the energy harvesting that's going on the planet. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. Let me get into the questions because, woo, I could talk about that for hours and hours and days. Why? I don't speak about things that I don't know. And the way that I magnetize energy and I transmute it all, let me tell you something too. I am mastered in energy harvesting also. And I'll freely say it. And why did I have to be mastered in energy harvesting? I'll proudly announce that too. Is to be able to have the capacity to see others doing it and shut them the fuck down. That's why. Because if you don't live it, you don't learn it. Well, I've lived it. How did I live it? Leads me to a question. So let me tell you a little story. So everybody that's followed me or knows what I'm coming back from in the past 9 months, even regardless of the conditions that I'm living in and all of that crap, because none of that exists too. The only thing that exists in my reality is my state of being. So the question was, Tobi, if it takes 2 years to come back from a traumatic event, how can you say that you're not even a year away from that destructive relationship and you're saying that you're healed and ready for another one? Well, because my central nervous system is not like another's. That was a mere experience. And guess what? Like I said, I transmute energy into good all the time because that is my job, primarily on the planet. That is why I'm granted my experience. This is why I signed up and said, yeah, me, I'll do it. You're damn right I'll do it. Me. Okay? My central nervous system, what have I been able to handle in my experience for my training to be able to what I can do energetically right now on this planet is unlike another. Why? Because people get stuck. Well, I didn't. See? So I flow unrestricted right now. So I chose to heal. I'm a healer. That's what I do. Okay? If I can. All right. So let me tell you a little story. So anybody who's read my book knows. But if you haven't, you're going to know today. So in 2010, I had a major car accident. that prior to that car accident, about 10 minutes prior, I left where I was living with a friend, and I had a very huge warning given to me saying, "You're minutes away from your death. And if you do not stop and grab yourself a coffee right now, you're going to be dead." And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I had an impending sense of doom that came over me, that flooded every single cell of my being. So around the bend, I stopped and I grabbed a coffee, knowing that I had to, because when you don't follow your intuition, oh boy, you're setting yourself up for disaster. And it was clear as day that I was about to lose my life. I felt it throughout my whole being. So I started sipping my coffee and I continued down the road. Well, it was early morning, country roads, dirt roads. I had just put an all-wheel drive vehicle, Subaru Impreza, on the road, and it handled a lot differently because I had previously had a Volkswagen Jetta. These vehicles were standard. I love my standard cars. And this was a road that I was traveling down, a dirt road that I hadn't mastered yet. Okay. And I love the country roads. I grew up in the country, and the country roads are priceless. Well, it was early morning. Dew was still on the ground. And I was booking it because I was going to work at a vineyard that day. Yep. And I knew that I was going to be late for work. Didn't matter what I had just felt. I knew, okay, I had to get to work. Because me, when it comes to work, hey, I don't show up late and I don't show up half-assed. So I was sipping my coffee and we were going down this dirt road. And we had a prior warning because in this Subaru Impreza, it was, like I said, an all-wheel drive. So I hadn't been mastered in an all-wheel drive. I had just put the car on the road a week before, or a couple weeks before. And it was spring and the roads were not solid, like they weren't dry. Well, came up to a bend in the corner, a really sharp bend. And we're going around this bend. And my car fishtailed. And it swung around to the direction of, it was a wooded area. Trees that you could never get through them. There's no way. Had I hit that, that's it. Me and the friend that I was with would have been dead that morning. And I knew it. I was like, oh, fuck. So I jolted my wheel the other way because I said, listen, I don't care. I got to get to the other side of the road. If I'm going off the road, I'd rather go to the other side. I'm not hitting this. So instinctually, I yanked and I ended up pulling the car successfully to head the other direction. But what was on the other direction? I didn't know. Well, because of the lip in the road, because of the corner, it put me into flight, not knowing underneath there was a 15-foot drop and trees and a little river. So I plummeted down that and flipped the car 4 times. I remember being knocked unconscious. I remember that. I remember taking off in flight. I remember the nose of the car going down. I remember the first impact. And that was it. My seatbelt didn't hold and I was knocked unconscious. Well, they said they could see where the car had flipped 4 times. and I hit a tree. And when I woke up, I didn't realize that I had been thrown around in the vehicle like a washing machine because my seatbelt didn't hold. But the girl that was beside me, she had seen the accident coming and braced herself into a ball, and she remained in that ball intact with her seatbelt on, untouched. But me, I had the rear view mirror stuck in my head where you can see the scars of it. And I was bleeding very badly, obviously. And I had been bruised up from head to toe. So when I came to, which I know why I came to, the first thing that I thought about, I didn't care about what was going on with me. I cared about the friend that was beside me. So I grabbed her and I got her out of the vehicle right away because that was my thing. I could smell smoke. I could see smoke. So I was like, okay, I got to get her out of the car. And that's all I cared about. I didn't take the time to look what was going on with me. I just needed to get her out of the car, which I successfully did. I remember asking her, can you open your door? And she said no. And I remembered pulling her out of the passenger seat and assisting her to get out through my side and get her onto the ground away from the car, where once she was out of the car, she started to be sick because it was the adrenaline. She started to throw up everywhere. I didn't take the time. I was thinking about her. I was like, shit, I got to do something for her. So I was like, I got to get help. I wasn't thinking about me. The adrenaline, the charge that was going through me that morning was insane. So I turned and I saw a house a good way from where the accident was. But there was a little river in between. Wow, that wasn't going to stop me because I knew that my friend was possibly like, look, the car was on. You could see the smoke coming from the engine. My windshield was totally smashed. The car was demolished. It was, if you saw the car, you wouldn't believe that the people inside of it survived. Literally. So I turn around and I start running to go to this river. So I attempted to jump over the river, and which I did, and I started running up to the house, but the woman was running towards me screaming, hey, you are bleeding all over the place. Stop. Don't move. Right? But I'm like, I need help. I need a phone. She was like, no, I saw it all. I've already called for help. But that accident, my point of telling you all of this, which you can read the rest of it in the book, is that accident shut down my immune system. You see, when your body is on the edge of death, your body's going to shut down what it doesn't need for you to stay alive. And now it's either going to shut down your capacity to digest food, or it's going to shut down your capacity to fight bacteria because it doesn't need that at that given moment. Like, my body shut down the capacity to produce an immune system response from the trauma that it endured that day, which led me to intensive care, total organ failure, total septic shock, and given 16 hours to live. Now, so my point to all of this being in the story is all of it's been training for me. Out of that ICU visit, I was out in 30 days, back home. I couldn't even go to another ward. Why? Because I had open wounds all over my body, and they believed it was too dangerous for me to be anywhere else. But yet I was too with it to be in ICU telling them what to do. Because I had regained my mobility. I was okay. And they saw that I was going to survive. So, okay. My point to telling you all this is simply because my central nervous system can handle a lot more than another can. The amount of trauma that I have suffered, not suffered, because I haven't suffered nothing. It doesn't exist anymore. It was hard living it while I was, but it doesn't exist anymore. So my central nervous system, it's like training for a marathon. Like others train to run, others train to do whatever they do. Well, I've been trained for trauma since my first breath. So it doesn't affect me like another does. So, yes, I'm not going to deny that being in the narcissistic, covert narcissist relationship was not life threatening, because it was, by me giving it permissions to be in my life. See, it's not, he didn't do anything to me. That's permissions that I granted in my own life. That's my own stuff. Nobody can do anything to me. That's my own choices, my own decisions. Did I learn from it? Of course I did. So this is why it didn't take me 2 years. So the original question was, if it takes 2 years to come back from trauma, how are you already over what you just lived? Well, listen, because up until yesterday, it's gone. I've been in training for trauma since my first breath. What I can handle is very different than another. And yes, when somebody's being yo-yoed by a narcissist, which when I was being, listen, I had a heart attack. I had flesh-eating disease, paralyzed half of my face. Anybody who's seen my videos seen that. But am I healed? Yes, healed and whole and ready for life. And why would I shut myself off to love? That was another question. Hold on here. That was another question. Tobi, with everything that you've lived in your life, how is it that you still don't give up on love? Well, if love is our fuel for life, so like your car runs on gas. Well, your gas for your organs in your existence is love. So if I give up on love in my experience, then I'm giving up on myself and my fuel for life. What would that do? That would park me in existence, staying stuck, not doing anything without any capacity for anything until what? I rust away. Direct correlation to what will happen with a car if you don't gas it up right and you don't maintain it. So my gas for life, just like your gas for life, is the love that fuels you for life, which is an energetic force. So if you give up on love in your experience, well, you're giving up on yourself and your essence of life and your life experience. So no, I won't give up on love ever. I breathe it, walk it, talk it daily. How can I give up on my existence of life? Because it's love that gives me the existence and the experience. So if I give up on love, I'm giving up on life. Seriously. I don't care about my experience. Bring it on. I've been in training for I could handle more than most. Yeah. And I'm okay with it all. Because I am one unlike another in this whole reality. I know that. I'm not out to, no, listen, another great question. Okay, so I was talking about the mailing lists. Thank you for the reminder. No, I have no interest in filling people's inboxes with shit. Simple. And everybody thinks, yes, they're doing great things by filling people's emails with anything and people appreciate it. Well, guess what? I'm not one that does. Not at all. And that's why everybody sees me unsubscribe to stuff, because you know what? I don't like it. I like to go and watch people's content face to face, hear them talk. I don't like to see bullshit email in my email. No, I don't. Sorry. And it's not all bullshit, but most of it is. I'll tell you straight up. I don't care who it is. And it's a lot of great people, but their email prompted push notifications that aren't personal are full of shit. I don't care. I'll say it loud and proud. It doesn't matter. It's all garbage. Listen, I subscribe to a couple of things and fuck. One morning I got 8 emails by the same person. Unsubscribe, unsubscribe, fucking unsubscribe. I got to unfollow and unconnect this person too. Because what the fuck are they doing? Like, that's my response I'm getting. That you guys are getting from me. All of this, it does not interest me at all, so I won't do it. Why have I not made courses? That was a question. Tobi, why have you not come out with courses yet? Because, like I said before, I come out with books, and now with workbooks in them. Hardcore. You want change? Go buy a book. It's better than me giving you classes and trying to empty your bank account. Look at the shit that's going on in the world. Literally. Do you think anybody, like, yeah, there's enough money to go around to everybody, but how many are just networking it amongst themselves? I see it happening. The stagnancy of the cycle of the flow of money flows just between them, and whoever doesn't have money to keep up with that flow doesn't get let in. Fuck that all. You want real change? I'm not going to sit here and try to get you for hundreds of dollars just to hear me talk. Go and get my books. If you want help after that, hey, reach out. Simple. I'm here to change the way shit's operating, not conform to the way it is. Far from it. I don't want your money. I want you to get into your highest power of your highest potential without restriction or boundary or limitation. Because you're already in your highest potential, but it's a distorted version of it. Literally. You know, and on another thing, there was a great question. Tobi, you must have a lot of friends and you must go a lot of places and you must, what do you like to do for fun? You know what? My existence is fun. Me breathing is fun. It's as simple as that. Do I have a lot of friends? No, I don't. I go with quality over quantity any day. For anybody to get me to show up anywhere, that's a big thing. I don't just do that. I'm very picky about where I bring my life force. Mind you. Where I must go, I must follow. And I get put in places that I need to be just me, because I disrupt what's going on. Or I bring something to benefit all. It's either or. I know that. But my boss puts me in those places. I don't govern that. Okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, okay. That was another thing. I don't like to plan. And no, I don't have a lot of friends. I really don't. I would rather sit by myself than to sit with bad company. Why? Well, because I don't shame myself. I don't blame myself. I don't judge myself. I don't mock myself, even in joking. I do not take myself any less serious than I should. I don't take my experience any less gratefully than I should. So I'm very choosy about the interactions that I have. Oh, I am just seeing now that there's comments. Hey, Gemma. I'm happy to see you. Love and support you, Tobi. Hey, Gemma, I love you. I'm happy to see you out here. You know, I would love to have you up here with me one day for a live, eh? Can you untrain yourself and get out of survival mode from abuse and trauma? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I answer that right now. Love is our fuel for life. You can't cut yourself from love. That's right. That's right. I love you, Gemma. I'm so happy. Okay, so look, can you untrain yourself and get out of survival mode from abuse and trauma? Yes, you can. Because while you're living in survival, you're in a state of hell. But there's a lot of reason for that. Because you believe it exists, first of all. Number two, because you are holding on to the emotional storage of it if you're running in survival mode. And the biggest fear that you have in survival mode is to face your fears. That's it. And no matter what we think that we have going on in there, because thoughts are distortions to our free flow, and it's like they dam your energetic flow. They put a dam on it. You know, where like water's supposed to flow freely. Well, trauma puts a dam because it's a distortion to the flow of love. So in order to get out of survival mode is you've got to remove the dam, open up the floodgates to allow it to flow. How do you do that? It's only dammed by the emotion that's attached to it, because that is the only way that you remember that trauma. So what you have to do is go back and look at the dam and deconstruct it. Why did it affect me the way that it did? Okay. Then you look at it and you understand clearly that it was an experience that is no longer existent in your today, yet it is still there and relevant until you release intentionally the emotion that's attached to it, because that's the only thing that's making you remember it to begin with. So that is the rooting cause of the trauma, is the emotion that it made you feel. So in order to get out of survival mode from abuse and trauma, to untrain yourself is to stare it dead in the face and deconstruct it, break it down to its simplest form so that you can allow the energy to flow through it and release it. Because that's what I've done. This is, back to the question that was asked to me before, Toby, how do you operate where your past doesn't harm you? Well, because it doesn't exist. And a lot of people have asked me, Toby, do you remember this? Toby, do you remember that? No, I don't. And it's not that I have a bad memory. No, it's just that my energy flows freely without storage. There's no reason to store an emotional bank of anything. It distorts your flow of your highest potential. So ask me what I did 2 days ago. I don't know. I don't care. It's gone. It no longer exists. This is also how I was able to heal from what I allowed myself to live. And like I say, that narcissistic, covert narcissist situation that I lived was actually one of the best. I mean, best. I mean, best things that could have ever happened to me, for me, and for all of you. Everybody should be thanking him the way that I do. And that may blow your mind too. Do you know I thank that man? I really do. With a full heart. Literally. And I thank and love him for the experience that was shared with me. Did I allow it to totally destroy what I built? Yes, no problem. But this shit's like a video game. It's like a Sims reality. I can rebuild and restore and recreate. That's who I am. I'm energy first. Nothing outside of me in this experience is relevant to my energy. It's not. It's all for me to magically enhance my experience. That's all. I'm a soul being first. Yeah. And that's the way that you untrain yourself and get out of survival mode. Yeah. From abuse and trauma is that you stop giving it your life force to exist because it only exists because you have it stored there to exist. It doesn't matter if you've lived it or not, it was an experience. So what? Yeah, it was hard to live, but it was all part of your learning and a part of your unique soul contract. Do you know that every scar that we carried, we already signed up to do it? We said, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll do it. And then we get stuck going, oh, shit, life happens to us and this and that. No, no. That's what a life contract's all about. Soul contract. You're not given your life experience without you agreeing to everything that you've got to live. There's nothing kept in secret. Once you tap into your soul and you operate from it, well, then you know that. Yeah. But I could show you how to do that. Like I do in all my books. Literally. And that's why I don't do classes. Because I'm not interested in trying to have any kind of false wealth in this false reality. I have the truest wealth on the planet right now. And that's the abundance of my energy. Literally. So what more do I need? I just need to be me. That's it. And that's why on this side, you see, it says 1000 hertz to be I. Tobi, to be I. That's all I need to be. I just need to exist. That's it. Authentically me. And that's exactly what all of you guys need to do too. That's all. So that was a great question. Thank you for that question. And, you know, thank you for the question about the trauma question, about taking the 2 years. Yeah, because, you know, something, people haven't been trained for trauma all their life. So some people have a hard time. Hey, Tamana, how you doing? I'm glad to see you out here. Love to you too. You know, but seriously, so a lot of people aren't trained for trauma. So when they're traumatized or it's a distortion to what they're used to, it really, really, really messes them up. Because when your central nervous system is in hyper gear and it gets used to operating like that, well, then when it stops operating like that, or when you're trying to calm it after that, it's a chore to do, because it's set in this pattern of running on trauma and running on the adrenaline and running on the feed of it all because of its existence in your belief systems, that you believe that it existed primarily. And then you have thoughts about it. Oh, shit. Well, I tell you, that's a real mess in your stew. Holy fuck. We're not supposed to think. When we're born and we're learning to move our hands and exploring and we're learning to do all of these things, we're not thinking about it. Thoughts are the truest distortion of your highest potential. And I'll say it again. Your thoughts are your truest distortion from your highest potential of your energetic force. Why? Because there's no thoughts attached to your highest potential, your thriving matter. And what you know to be right in your heart and what you want in your heart is very different than what your head's going to tell you. But your head is going to tell you everything that everybody else wanted your head to tell you. That's why you got to follow your heart. Because literally, it's not a joke. That's all your head is. Your head is it's a stew of, it's a stagnant mess of everybody else's thoughts and beliefs. That's all it is. And then yours buckled on top of it, and all of yours are based on what everybody else put there. So you may think that you've constructed yourself to believe who you are and believe what all this. It's a crock of shit, because that too is all based on what everybody else made you believe about who you are. Isn't that a real shit stew? Sorry, but hey, it's facts. So what's your truest, highest potential? Well, it's the love fueling you, undistorted by thought. But while you think that you have PTSD, or that you are traumatized, or you are depressed, or you have a hard past, or even your past even exists, well, guess what? That's your truest distortion of your highest potential. When I wake up every morning, yesterday's done. It's done. Everybody in yesterday's done. Everything that should have been left in yesterday's done. All I brought forward is the learning. And when you wake up today, you're a brand new person. Like I say all the time, because you lived yesterday. So you experienced yesterday. Just breathing yesterday and living yesterday has created you to be a new being. Change. Yesterday's experience changed you, whether you realized it or not. Change is always happening. So how can you stay the same? You do that by your choice alone, by believing and carrying forward these things that exist and they don't. Factually. Why do I say this? Because when I wake up in the morning, everything that was yesterday remains there. There's nothing in my today that is existent from yesterday unless I bring it forward. Literally. No people, places, or things. So what does that mean? When I get up in the morning, when I interact with people in my reality today, then those are the people in my experience. Nothing but. The ones that are not, I am not interacting with, are not in my experience. Simple. That's just the way it is. I budget my energetic bank. Yeah, because I have a lot to do. But my soul knows what it has to do. So does my heart. So there's no thoughts about that. And that's, when you can do that for yourself, you're free from all restriction, boundaries, limitations. Where you're distorting all of that, where your restrictions are, where you're damming your free flow is from your thoughts and your belief systems and your ideas, primarily about yourself and your experience. Because everything that you think about yourself, you're thinking about another. Because they are an extension of you. So if we're going to drop it real today, let's do that real. But it's all facts. Simple. And I'm not going to talk about things that I don't know about. Well, I happen to know. I don't think about it. I know about it. Simple. And I like to keep it simple. Why? Because that's another tattoo on my arm. Okay, keep it simple. Less is more. And then there's no limits. Literally. No thoughts attached. And I'm an energy force before I was ever named Tobi. And I was given the breath of life before I was given my name. So I will stay true to my breath of life and not what everybody believed or made me to believe about myself. And this is also why an opinion doesn't matter from another, because I do not create opinions about myself or about another. I deal with energetic facts. What I feel is facts. Nobody can tell me different. And like I was mentioning before, great, thank you for the reminder. You know, I can honestly say, experiencing the narcissist that I did, look, all you guys say narcissism, listen, it was an experience. Yes, it was. But am I grateful for it? Oh, yes, I am. Very much so. Because I didn't know what narcissism was until I lived that and did the research on that. But it also, hey, it fueled a lot of greatness out of me too, because I transmuted a lot of negativity into great stuff. My books that came out of that, oh my. And that's what I do. I transmute negativity into light. That's what a light worker does. So, this was another great question. Tobi, you mentioned way shower. You talked about way shower. You talk about certain titles that attach. Really, what do you do? Well, I just have to be me. And that's all I have to be. The conversations that I have with people, I activate people. I disrupt their belief systems. I hold a frequency that they need to feel so that they know it's attainable and achievable for themselves. I illuminate the things in the darkness that they can't look at themselves to assist them to clear it out. But I'm also, so look, I got a couple of things about me. All right. I'm an empath. I embrace my energetic being primarily. I am energy first. So, being an empowered empath, of course, we are energetically influenced all the time in this reality. How are we not? We are constantly. Well, we are all energetic beings, constantly connected to energy all the time, and constantly influenced by the energies around us all the time. So I'm an empath. I'm so tapped into my own energy that I can feel the flow of another. Literally. As if it's my own. I can feel their emotions as if I embody them for myself, because it's an energetic frequency and everything's a transfer. So where I push my attention and life force to, I automatically transmute with. So it doesn't matter whether I'm online or whether face to face or whatever. I exchange a level of frequency with people who need it. That's what I do primarily. So if I show up in interactions like I do, and if I show up bringing my life force like I do, it is meant because whatever I say and project into it creates a transfer with those that are in it. Now, what is that transfer? Well, I am there to absorb their lower density frequencies and transmute them back to love and give them back to them. It's like washing their energy. So, drug dealers wash money, Tobi washes energy. And Source, my creator, puts me in the path and around the people who need me the most. This is why you will see me pop up where I do, whenever I do, without. I can't be governed. I am governed by the Most High. So where I don't have a planner that I fill with people, places, and things. The Most High has a plan for me, which I abide to. Hey, Melissa. Good to have you here. Lots of love. So, this is what I do. Now, being also a spiritual way shower, what I have had to do is master both. Look, some of us have double missions. It's as simple as that. Well, I have a double mission. What's a double mission? Well, you don't just come here to do one thing with one gift. No, you're training, like I was talking about, and what you can endure on the planet within this reality and density and still maintain love within the deepest, darkest density possible is huge. I have the whole universe clapping for me right now because of what I can embody within this density. How could I not be respected and protected in all realms for what I can embody? Of course I am. And how could I not share it all with you? Because this is exactly what you all need to hear and know. I know that. And it's not about me, it's for the whole reality. Because every time I speak in this reality, I am creating it to be. So this is why I must come out and I must speak exactly what I'm guided to speak on. Why do I do the books that I do? Well, because I am guided to do exactly what I do. And I obey. And I only obey the Most High. I don't hold my tongue for another person on the planet because my tongue is for the Most High to speak the truth into this reality of density and lies. And I've embodied a frequency that can be untouched by any lower density frequency. Literally. That's why I've got 12 the universe on my arm. Well, I'm here to enlighten everybody back into their fullest potential too. Because our fullest potential was capped because of people not using it right. Literally. And if you go do the research, well, you'll understand that our DNA has been capped and the telomeres on our DNA and all of that stuff. You know. You know. So, no, I'm not. I have zero interest of building a six-figure business like everybody's trying to shove down my throat. Because that is the farthest thing from what's going to make you happy. And everything that you've got to invest in that shit to make it happen, fuck all that. And then going from 6 figures to 7 figures, really? Why don't you fucking get into your highest potential first? Because when you do that, you're going to see that none of that shit matters. But all these people that are so into the money, fuck, I see how you're all locked into the shit. I've got the true wealth. I'm the richest one because of my energy. That's your true wealth. But you guys are all mismanaging your energetic bank by trying to create companies that are 6 figures. Fuck all that shit. Because while you're doing that, you're not enjoying life. No. You're following a program. You're following a system. You're striving for I don't know what. But while you're investing all of that energy everywhere else, what are you doing for you? Exactly. Yeah, Melissa, I know. And that's why I do what I do. And everybody's like, Tobi, you could make so much money. Well, guess what? Tobi's sitting in government housing in a poison pit doing what she's doing with zero resources, zero money. Do I have any money today right now? No, I don't. Do I need any money? No, I don't. Am I sitting out here giving more truth and real talk than anybody who's got the millions? Yes, I am. I don't have a fucking cent. Do I need it? No. My truest currency is me. Nothing outside of me. Y'all have it fucking twisted. I can consciously create by breath alone. And that was another lead to a great question. Tobi, what is it that you want? What are you striving for? Absolutely fuck all. Because when you get to this point, you need nothing and you don't want fuck all either. Simple. Because none of it's real. So I'm here to flip the script of the role of this game. And I'm doing a great job of it. Just by holding the frequency that I do in this density. This is what I talk about flying like an apex predator. I'm not stuck as any fucking ostrich. So you guys got a choice too. So no, Tobi is not going to come out with courses and mailing lists and try to funnel you all. No, not at all. For what? Anybody wants the knowledge and the highest potential of their being back into alignment with who they are and want to know how to undam their flow so they can drink from their own fountain of youth? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm getting younger by the day. Well, then you can reach out to me. I'm not chasing fucking nobody. And yes, I rip it real and raw because, hey, listen, I don't lie to myself. Why am I going to lie to you? And my tongue is governed by the Most High. Not an idea, not a thought, not a belief system, not a person, place, or thing in this reality. Because the waves I send out into this reality are unlike another. So it's either you want it for yourself or not. What does that do for me? Absolutely fuck all. Do I really care at the end of the day? No, I don't. Because I'm in my own universe. So am I affected by another? No, not unless I allow them into my universe. And to be granted that permission in my life, trust me, I see who's worthy and who's not. By their own choices. That's got nothing to do with me. They're just an extension of my reality to learn from. That's why every interaction, there's a lesson. And that's the truest blessing. So many people have it twisted. But while you've got the nose to the grind, are you stopping to smell the roses? I highly fucking doubt it. While you're sitting there trying to slave to have. You left a goddamn 9 to 5 to slave to the system in another way. Jokes. Nah. It's time to stand up for yourself and your life force and the love that's fueling you. No matter who you are, and operate from it. Because yes, the shift is here. Yes, times are changing. Yes, it's game over for this density. Simple. Yeah, it's time for people to be operating in the same frequency of the planet, don't you think? Because right now, you see that flow that I talk about, damming the energy? Well, guess what? The planet you're on has a pulsating energy to it too. And unless you're working in alignment with it, you got to go too. Why would I have a problem with that? The whole universe is assisting it to happen. Yeah. Well, it's all a choice, whether people want to awaken or not to their highest potential. And there is a truest balance to the duality. So there will be some that want to and some that won't. Just like how the scripture says there'll be two and one will be chosen and one won't be. And you know, you guys with all these scripture talks and everything, yeah, there's a lot of relevance, but it's distorted, twisted, and to lead you all astray. Yeah. By the same 1920 pre-writing of it all. Anyway, how do I know? Because I've got an 1800s Bible sitting in my house that I've looked at, which was actually a law book. Before you guys all see this stuff, and it's all energy harvesting. Get you guys all up in that, come on. Listen, how do I know about energy harvesting? Because, like my story said about going into ICU, total organ failure from that car accident eventually led me to that. Well, guess what? I needed to learn how to energy harvest when I had my life review and was told that my body was no longer habitable. That in my body, the only way to go back into my body and learn how to fix it was to master energy and master the energy of others and make my life existence happen. Reverse what I had done to my avatar because I had created inhabitable conditions within it. That's how. Well, I chose to come back and jump into that inhabitable body and make it very habitable by choice alone. This is why I say anything is possible. Okay? You guys really don't understand the magnitude of it. And that's another thing, too. You know what? So, the question of the friends, unless somebody, no matter who they are in my life, has read every single one of my books, they have no fucking clue who I am. And I hate to say it, but that is facts and truth of the most realest form. Really. So you really want to figure it out for yourself the way that I've figured it out for me and the whole of humanity? You want to go get the books. And yeah, my books originally are in global distribution, but my revised copies with the workbooks are at lulu.com. So right now I'm up to 11 books with 4 revised copies with workbooks, brings it to 15 books. So you guys are all asking me about courses and classes. Fuck all that shit. Go get the books. They're like $40 instead of the 500 you're looking to spend with me. I validate and appreciate your time and energy. You think I want you to, I know what kind of slavery you got to do to go get that money. You think I want to create courses and classes so you can slave to me? Because in the actuality, if you're out there slaving to pay me to give you guidance and help you, guess what? Then you're slaving for me. No, I'm not into that. Go get the fucking books. Simple. Because I invested way more time and energy putting those together than you'll ever have to read them. Literally. But no, I'm not interested in course creation. No, I'm not interested in coaching, group coaching where I'm charging 50. Nah, fuck all that shit. You know what I'm interested in? You taking control of your own life, your own accountability for your frequency first, your energy, your granted permissions by the universe to even exist. Fuck. And operating out of the fullest potential of your being. That's the only thing that interests me. Literally. And how can you do that? Well, you can go and get the books with the workbooks. If you have questions after that, listen, reach out, throw me an email. I just, I don't even know if I put the new link up, but I just opened a new email address too. alphaemindmasterytobi@gmail.com. Send me questions there from any of my books. You want one-on-one time with me? No problem. But I'm not going to chase you. I got better things to do, even if it's do fuck all, than to chase anything or anybody in my experience, because it's my reality. And what do I want and what do I need? I need nothing. And what do I want? Nothing. Why? Because I am an expression of the universe. I am love first before anything. So as long as I'm loving me right, I couldn't give a fuck if there is another outside of me doing that, because I'm loving me right. You see? Everybody needs something outside of them. Well, yeah, yesterday I felt like, I would love to have somebody beside me too, but then I had a long, good hard moment to feel that one out too, and I went, oh, fuck no. Like, I want to compromise. Like, I want to have to conform. Like, I want to have to play small because somebody can't handle truth. Like, I want to have to, be a beck and call to handle somebody else's needs. Fuck all that shit. I'd rather be alone, flowing freely like the river that I do. Because I'm okay with me. So I don't look to another to complete, or I don't have a need for another if I do it for me. So for another to be a part of my experience, they have to bring something to me that enhances my experience and gives me a safe capacity to maintain my authenticity. Because if they can't, well, I'm definitely not toning down anything for anybody. No, because I flow freely from the purest energetic power of my being in this reality. Factually, from like a 12D consciousness, eh? So I don't know, everybody with this 5D, yeah, we're ascending. Well, guess what? I'm operating out of 12D. When I talk to my boss, it's instant. Instant. Right away. And that's where I go first. Source is my resource. All the time. All the time. One of the questions was, yesterday after I talked about, it'd be nice to have somebody next to me, make it all worth it. Well, guess what? I make it worth it for me, even just to breathe. Why? Because Source makes it worth it for me, because I'm granted this day. Simple. Y'all have it twisted about this intimacy shit. And I'll talk about it. What is real intimacy with another? Oh, when you can be soulfully you without distortion. That's the real intimacy. Where you're given the safety and security to be authentically you, flowing in your divine energetic flow without distortion of any kind. That's the true intimacy with another. Another person is not supposed to distort your energetic flow of any kind, no matter if it's a relationship, an interaction, a connection, whatever it is, whether it's family, friends, whatever the fuck you give meaning to in your life. If it is making you feel anything other than loving, it is distorting who you are. Well, being who I am, nothing will distort who I am. And the true intimacy with another is not the sexual act. Far from it. The true intimacy is with another, in my situation, would be for me to flow freely with another energy. Undistorted. Energies either merge or they repel. So, my energetic flow with the same buckling of another energetic flow of my magnitude, frequenting at the same level, which can merge, becomes amplified. So that's the only reason why I would want that in my life. Okay? So obviously, people that can't vibe at my vibe, can't be real, truthful, heartful, real, authentic beings, cannot be on the same wave as me. And they will definitely bring me down should I allow them to. Just like the experience could have happened. But this is the why I say my last experience of destruction was my hugest amplification of blessings. And you might wonder how. fuck is that possible? Well, because had I not had my heart attack, had I not had the flesh eating, had I not lived what I just lived, I would have never pumped out all the rest of the books that I had to do. I would not be out here speaking to you all. I would not be sharing knowledge and wisdom with any of you. So that was the best thing that could have happened to me and to the whole world. So the truest intimacy must be with yourself primarily, allowing yourself to be the love that you need in this world first, and stay authentically true to that, and nurture that flow and that connection within yourself first before you can be intimate with another. And I don't mean intimate by just touching yourself. No, I'm talking about soulfully intimate with your energetic being, your essence of life. Who are you? Why are you here? What did you accept in your life contract? What are your ancestors telling you? Because we're influenced by them on a daily. What are the things that you're supposed to correct as this planet ascends for your lineage, for your bloodline? Because there's one in every family. I encourage you guys all to get intimate with your own beings first before you try to get intimate with another. And it's not about laying down with another. It really isn't. How do I know that factually? Because I will say it loud and proud. You know, I talk about, and I've mentioned many, many times, that I never would have ended up in that relationship had a really, really good friend of mine who I say it all the time. He's the husband that I don't sleep with. Okay, so everybody, you know how you got like a work husband, or you got a friend that's just like as if you had a partner, but they're not your partner? Well, I have that in my life. And had he not gone to jail, I never would have ended up with the man that I was with. Literally. And you may all think, well, how's that possible? Well, because for 5 years before he went to jail, I was with him every single day. Everybody knew that where they saw him, they would see me. And where they saw me, they would see him. And we're soulfully connected in a way that we've never been physically intimate with each other, but we are intimate with each other on a soulful level every day. It's like he knows when I'm not good without calling me. There's a soulful connection there. When I really need him, I just have to think about him, and then he calls right away. Right? So had he not gone to jail, I never would have ended up with this guy that I just lived with. Well, I've left now over 10 months ago. I would say 10 months ago, whatever. It'll be a year in August that I'm free from that. But within that 2.5 years, yes, I had a heart attack. Yes, I had flesh-eating disease. Yes, I had my knee dislocated because I was confronting him about another woman. Yes, there's a lot of abuse that I endured during that time. But what I can take is unlike another. And I say it all the time. And it doesn't excuse it, but shit happens. And it's okay. And how I get over it is I say, so what? There was learning in it. And while it was happening, no matter what negativity I was transmuting, I was pumping it out in a positive way. I was creating books. I created You Matter the Most. I tried to come out and especially knowing the density of what I was living in, the negativity that somebody was enduring within themselves with their limiting beliefs, with their construction of self-identity. And that was the greatest learning for me. And it's funny because one of my friends, while I was living with that, had said to me, oh, there's another comment, had said to me, love to you too, had said to me, are you done with your experiment? Like, are you ready to go on with your life? And I was like, what? And he said to me, it's like you took this guy on as an experiment. And I went, what the fuck? Fuck, I needed to hear that. And he was like, no, seriously. You literally, like, this guy is the farthest thing from what you normally get with. The farthest thing from what you normally do. Is this a sick, twisted, like, experiment? And I was like, I don't know. But when I look at it now, it's the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Yeah, it was hard to live. Why? Because of the gaslighting, the lies, the cheating, the manipulating, the physical abuse, the spiritual abuse, the emotional abuse. But I allowed it. I gave it permission. It doesn't excuse it from happening, but man, did it teach me a lot. I gave that permission to teach me whoppers of a lesson. So what did that in turn do for me? Well, it assisted me to assist others living under the same thing. It's assisted me to be truthful about narcissism out there and people having to deal with it. It has assisted even people in my own family to face the constructs of the belief systems that we're under. So it assists, Anyway, back to my intimacy talk. Intimacy, like I said, I tell you about this guy that I was connected to, and I'm still connected to him. But he's the husband that I don't sleep with. Well, soulfully, the intimacy level with this man is unlike another because I can be safely me no matter what. There's no restriction. That's the truest intimacy with anybody, is when you can be fully intimate with your own feelings and your own energetic flow, and you can be free to be who you are authentically with another. Well, with this gentleman, yes, I can be authentically me, no matter what. What does that look like? He's not telling me that I'm too much. He's not telling me to be quiet. He's not telling me to tone it down. He's not telling me to change my ways. No, he doesn't tell me any of that. He's appreciative of who I am and the energy that I bring. And he actually protects me from harm in ways energetically that the world doesn't even see, but that I already feel and know. So that's the true intimacy. So yesterday when you guys saw me come out on the live, and I was like, okay, I need something to make it all worth it. Well, just by me voicing it, what do you think happened? I was blessed with the same man. Turned my energy right around. Brought me coffee, brightened my day, had a chit chat with me. Like, what more could I ask for? And that was the reminder of the intimacy I needed, was just that connection, literally, by another. It wasn't that I need, like, hey, come on. So, yes, you got to be intimate with yourself to a point where you understand the truest love and authenticity running through you, to be able to feel that and have that with another. And you guys all have it twisted about, you think it's all about sex. Actually, no. When you're operating from a full cup, it's got nothing to do with the creative sexual center. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. And this is why. Okay. So this was another question. Why does sex die out in a partnership? Well, because you're coming from a different level of frequency flow. So if you're coming from it's all energetically. So if sex is a foundation that you come together, right? Because you're feeling, let's do it energetically. So if you're feeling rooted in your being and rooted with another, well, then you have urges to have a creative sexual flow with that person, right? Well, once that's achieved, and what's that for usually? It's to create. So it's to create stability with another and create connections with another and to create whatever else is to come, because that's what it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be fucking anybody that you're not building with. Sorry to say it like that, but you're not supposed to be freely just giving out your energy like water to drink, no matter who's trying to lap at your fountain. But anyway, literally, it's all energy. So once that sex in a partnership with the energies merging is, you're over that, and there's only so much sex you can have before it gets like, repetitive or the same sensation, or with the, because one person will make you feel one way energetically. That doesn't change. So you can do it physically in all kinds of ways, but it's not going to change your energetic feeling for them. So after the sex happens, well, then you're moving up in your energetic merging, right? So it spirals together from the base. So it's your roots merge, and then you have sex, and so it's a creative merge of sacred energy exchange, which fuels the merging of your energies. But initially, from the rooting of a couple, it's either you guys should be able to merge or repel. There shouldn't be somebody you guys having sex and then figuring it out. No, it's supposed to be figured out before the rooting of the partnership or building of the commitment. So then the sex comes into play where it merges the energies and then it goes up, right? So all of your flows of your energetic points. So from after your creative center of your merging of your energies in a partnership, well, then you're going to will things of your heart's desires. So it only makes sense. So why does sex die out? Well, because you come from a different creative center as you grow together as a couple. And that's why the longer you're with somebody is the less sex matters, really, because you guys are functioning from a higher state of frequency together as a merged energy. So this is where you either repel or you merge on even a daily basis. It's a creation of a thing that, because you wake up as a brand new creation every day, that needs to be fueled as well between any partnership, brand new on a daily basis, because it no longer exists if you do not make it exist in your new day. But partnerships that have been together a long time, this is why sex is not still a spark of the creative power of their energetic merging, is because sex no longer plays a part of it when you're at a higher level of frequency within your own being as an individual. And when you're merging energetic frequencies of a very powerful energetic flow, it really has nothing to do with sex. Absolutely not. Nothing to do with sex, because it is a frequency energetic merging and not of a physical level. And it, depending on your frequency flow, is where you operate from. So if you're operating from flesh, yes, you are going to feel the flesh aspects of it. But when you are operating from your frequency first, it's a different effect completely. So why does sex die out? It's because you work from a different chakra point, a different frequency point in your energetic flow. And that's why communication is so important. And that's why being intimate with your own being energetically first. You got to be in it in order to be able to have that flow with another and flow freely with it. You just have to. It's imperative. And if you don't do that with yourself, you cannot do that with another. Everything that you do with somebody else is direct correlation to exactly what you do to yourself. Why? Because you are projecting that from yourself into your reality. No matter what you're seeing, it's all yours. It's your own universe that you're creating. You're either creating this universe by your thoughts and everybody else of what they wanted you to create, or you're operating from your heart and your truest potential of your being, which is the love that's fueling you for your existence. It's your choice. Because the love that's fueling us is by perfect design. Perfect design. It knows no limitations, no boundaries, no nothing. Just knows how to thrive, and power and the force of it is insane. And this is why, well, not insane. Sorry. I got tapped on the wrist for that one. No, it's not insane. It's perfectly calculated. But when you're operating from your purest flow, there are no thoughts. Thoughts are a creation that are man-made. And like I talk about it in my first book, emotions are man-made. Why? Because you believe they exist. You believe that they, listen, hey, why do you think that shit exists? Because you've been taught to put labels on feelings. Which, how can you put a label on a feeling when you process data differently than anybody else does because of your uniqueness of who you are, of your unique energetic flow? No two people are alike. So no two person is experiencing an emotion the same way if they're not experiencing the same reality. So there can't be a classification for emotion. The truest one emotion is when you shed a tear. That's it. So if you're not crying over something, you're not feeling it. And this is why it's important to cry. Washes your soul. You got to cry. Cry it out. Anytime you feel that you need to cry, let it out. It's releasing something. It's washing something. That is the true emotional reaction. There's no fucking name attached to that. You see the reaction. You feel the reaction, and you can't stop that when you want to cry. Well, being angry, being depressed, being whatever you choose to be is a choice. And if you're not crying about it, well, then you're really not feeling it, because that's the only emotional reaction there is. So we've been lied to about that shit too. Well, I'm here to tell you the truth, like I always do. But hey, it falls on deaf ears most of the time anyway. But that's okay, because I'll keep saying it until the ears open up. But actually, it's not even ears opening up. So yeah, thanks for the correction. How to talk about it. It's the cap of comprehension. And you're all capped at that comprehension level of what you believe to be real. For yourself, your energy, your existence. It caps your consciousness. Well, I don't believe anything in my experience other than I'm the universal expression of the Most High and all the energy of it. And I flow freely, just like all the other energetic influences in this yes, universe, but in this reality. So the intimacy thing, it's not about sex. It's about how intimate can you be with your energetic flow. While you cannot be intimate with your energetic flow if you're restricting the flow. If you're not grounded in your own being, if you're not loving yourself enough. And if you got to release all of those emotional baggages of what you believe to be real about your existence. None of it exists. If you sit with me right here today, like you are right now, what exists? What exists? When you look around you, the only thing that exists is what your eyes can see, that you're projecting into your reality. Everything else is created by your thought. Well, I'd like to tell you that everything that you're looking at outside of you is also created by your thoughts. This is why it's so important to rid yourself and release yourself of all of that emotional baggage that you got packed away there from all of these experiences that you claim to be real in your life, and they don't exist today. Yes, they existed when you lived them, but they do not exist now. You are recreating them by your thought that they exist. We are a fresh person today, and none of that shit exists. So, yes, you can choose to release yourself of it, or you can choose to allow every idea, thought, word spoken, and every action that you take governed by it all. Yeah, why do I say that? Well, I'll teach you guys the correlation today also too. Well, because ever since your parents started installing you with the things to think, say, and do, didn't that govern your whole life? Right? Started telling you, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. Oh, don't do that, don't do this. Speak this way, eat this way, shit this way, wipe your ass this way. You don't think the whole rest of your life was governed on that? By what you were made to believe? Nobody's exempt from that. I don't give a shit what title you have on the back of your name or who you think you are. Well, I'll tell you something. You were lied to about who you are. And you were lied to about your capacities and the things that you can do. Not intentionally. Because our parents did not intentionally say, oh no, okay, well, I'm gonna construct you to be out of your highest potential, and I'm gonna construct you to be an unloving person. No, they didn't even fucking know they were operating that way to begin with. So now that we know this, and knowledge is power, we correct it. We know better, we do better. And if you don't, well, then you're just in denial of your own destruction. Well, I'm not here to destroy. I'm here to drink from my fountain of youth, which is my energetic flow, and get younger by the day and enjoy every breath of this experience. And that's what I'll do. And I hope and pray that you guys all do it too. And there was a question asked to me, what do I feel about gender roles? Because I spoke about it. Well, I'm about to say some controversial shit right now. A lot of people will probably unfriend me, and I hope you do if you've got a problem with it. But I'm here to speak the truth. Okay? So I don't need any pretenders around me, because that's definitely not what I do. The last thing that I'll ever do is pretend for any person, place, and thing. All right, so let's talk about it. Gender roles. Yeah, you're fucking right. There's gender roles for a reason. The brains don't operate the same. They both bring special things to the union. So, of course, I'll talk about it. You know, you guys have it twisted about this patriarchal society. Because when you do the research, well, the matriarchal ways, okay? When shit was run by women, it was a lot different. Now, why? I'll say it loud and proud. Men are not nurturers. Okay? Men are laborers. Literally. Now, why do I say that? Because a man's power and strength is not like a woman's. Yes, she has power and strength. Yes, she does. I don't diminish that at all. But that's why their structures are bigger. This is why they're just men are men for a reason. They're built differently. They think differently. They maneuver differently. They data process differently. And this is why there's a huge importance of a man being a man and a lady being a lady, or being in her divine feminine. Now, I'll talk about it because one of the questions was, Toby, how do you ever expect to get a great man if you're in your masculine energy that you talk about? Well, why do I have to be in my masculine energy? We all have two energies within us. We have our feminine, we have our masculine, and that is our sides of our body. Okay. Now, I have had to be in my masculine energy because ever since I was born, I have never had one man in my life that I could depend on. Up until this guy that I tell you about, that who is a soulful friend of mine. Okay? Never. Every single man in my life, throughout it all, lied to me, shamed me, blamed me, abused me, mocked me, belittled me. It was like men were just evil beings in my life. And that's why, you know what, it's funny because when I got to my teenage years, I had this vengeance for men because they weren't men, to the point where literally I used to be like, yeah, take them, fuck them, and chuck them, because that's all they're good for. And it's funny because some friends of mine from my past, from my high school days, will attest to that. That was Toby's favorite line. Take them, fuck them, and chuck them, because that's all they're good for. Well, that's because I had never really met good men until the men that I have in my life as friends now. And there's a couple of great men online that I encourage you guys all to listen to, literally. But it is my experience that led me to feel like that. Men were not there to protect me. They were the ones that were hurting me the most throughout my whole life. No matter what it was, there was not a man that was enhancing my life in a proper way, ever. So I constructed to be my own partner. I had to listen, when I was raising my children alone, I had to become their mother and their father. So aside from everything that I lived, I raised two children, like, before they went to my mom's, because I put them at my mother's house. I didn't lose my children. I placed my children with my mother. Literally, that was a safe place for them. They're grown adults now. But no, I did that intentionally because I was told I was going to lose my life. So before I died, I needed to sign over the rights to my son to make sure that he didn't get caught in a system. So that's what I did. Yeah. But literally, roles are for a reason. And this is why I freely talk about men aren't men nowadays. And it's not to male bash. No, it's because they are not in their divine masculine energy of who they are and who they're the rightful role that they're supposed to play on the planet. Man wasn't created first to follow a woman. But what are these men leading these women to nowadays? Fucking headaches and lies and cheating and bullshit. Why? Because they can't be intimate with their own being and figure themselves out. Simple. That's the biggest problem. So yes, I believe in the gender roles, and yes, I believe that everybody's got a role. And if they fucking knew their roles and they were honorable to their roles, the world wouldn't be operating the way it is. And it's as simple as that. Like, there's a real reversal of the gender roles. Huge. Big time. And yes, everybody's happy with the women rights and the everything and how far women have gotten. And yes, I get it. I get it. But factually speaking, a woman has a job to do, and it's not to be out slaving to the system. No, it's not. Far from it. So, yes, women are capable to do certain things, and men are capable to do certain things. But no man should be trying to do a woman's job, and no woman should be trying to do a man's job. And yes, they each have jobs to do, uniquely to them. And I don't care who they are. But yes, man was created first for a reason. So to all the men that are out there claiming to be men, are you leading properly? Because you would not be the first if you weren't meant to fucking lead right. I don't care who you are. And I don't care who you think you are or what reputation you have to uphold or your self-identity that you've created, which is a bag of bullshit. If you're not out here being the love that you are. So factually, hey. But now women, what role are you playing? I get it. Everybody trying to be entrepreneurs now. Why? Because they've had to be. Why do you think men get paid more? Because they're supposed to fucking be the ones bringing in the bread. Anyway, it's really twisted, and no, everybody's got a gender role. And you know what? Women should be free to be authentically them in their divine, feminine, nurturing nature to multiply all the man brings. Yeah. So a man will drop his seed in you. Well, you'll grow him out a baby. Right? He's going to provide him provisions for the home. Well, what's that going to do? It's going to build stability and security for your home and your dwelling and your thriving and your everything. But where does it make any sense that when a woman has created something for a man where she needs to then take care of the man and the creation? The fucking twisted shit are we living in? All of these single mothers, all of these single fathers, all of this fucking separation shit. We're one first. Everybody's got it fucking twisted. And then you wonder why the kids are all off balance and everybody's all out of whack. And you got kids thinking that they're fucking lampshades. And what the? I gotta say it. Oh, I associate with, a cat. And I associate with, come on, what kind of fucking whack shit is really going on? Do you think a duck out in nature is trying to be a dog? The fuck? Everybody's got a role to play, eh? A duck is a duck. And a duck is not trying to be a swan. And a duck is not trying to be a whale. A duck is a fucking duck. So you know what? The biggest problem is people don't know their damn roles. They got it all distorted. Well, get right with yourself first before you can get right with your reality, because it all stems from within. Anyway, guys, I've touched on a lot of stuff out here today, just like I had to. And I don't think that I covered everything, but you know, as long as the water is dammed, so let me get it right. So let's talk about it on a way that you'll understand it. So you have a free flow of water like a fresh river running through your whole being. Well, if it's dammed at any point because of your thoughts, your emotional scars, all of this thing that you believe to be real, and you're holding on to just to give your life meaning, well, then when water is contained, what happens to it? It gets stagnant, smelly, and dirty. Well, guess what? That's the same way your energy is while you've restricted the flow. So, the trauma you choose to hang on to, any of your past that you choose to hang on to, any thoughts that you think that you want to create and think about yourself and everybody else and all of this shit that you allow govern your life, it is all making you a stagnant pond. Literally. And that shit stinks. So, I encourage you guys all to remove all of the restrictions that you have in your own being. What are those? Well, your thoughts that you have about yourself and about everybody else, and your, just everything that you're doing that is so not aligned with who you really are. And I say, look, until I got it right, I was doing it too. So this is why I come out here and truthfully say it, because I am not a perfect person in this experience, but my state of energy is perfect. Yeah. Anyway, guys, have a magical weekend. If you're in my area, there's a street fair going on Notre Dame. Because, Anyway, I guess I've made up for the lives that I haven't come out and said, guys, keep the questions coming. I love the questions, but yes, I am not sexist, but no, we all have a divine purpose and a role on the planet, and nobody is owning their fucking role, and that's where all the problems start from, and I will say it. Anyway, guys, I love you all. Have a great day. You matter. Why wouldn't you? This is your reality, your experience. You're projecting it. So what are you doing with it? I love you all. Get the most out of it. Peace.